This painting by Margaret Coe is titled Live Action Picture Show. This is a very abstract oil painting that had resided in Empire Hall for 15 years, and around the time of the Umpqua shooting, as well as Empire Hall being remodeled, the picture was removed from Empire Hall and has been residing in an instructor's classroom here at SWAC. I believe that this photo is very controversial because of the men in the photo on the far left and the far right that are openly carrying guns. And so you can see that this photo is split into two different sections, right, where the blue meets the other primary colors. And so you can see that this is almost two places of a representation of the same spot of the same place. And so I think on the far left you can see that the man is open carrying and he is wearing bright red and yellow colors, and I think that this is supposed to incite that this is supposed to be a more violent man because he is open carrying the day. The people around him are almost oblivious to the fact that he has a gun. And so I think that this is supposed to symbolize the fact that most people that commit school shootings and other shootings of sorts are usually not thought to be that violent of a person, and their friends and family usually go on to say, I couldn't believe that this person did this, they were so sweet. And so you can see that it contrasts from a very bright open area to a more dark secluded area where you can see the man on the far right is carrying a smaller weapon, but it is almost more formal where he's wearing a suit and a tie. And so I believe that this gives the viewer the idea that this is supposed to be almost not as bad or not as prevalent. And so I think that most people think that gun violence happens at night and muggings, and so I think that this really depicts two different kinds of gun violence today. And so this painting has a lot of space and value to it, because you can see that with the rough brushwork, you can see in the background that there is a lot of structures that look like skyscrapers or large buildings, and the light sky really opens up the picture and it gives a contrast to the darker values of the picture. And so the picture that's being painted here, I think, is very complex, and I think that it really demonstrates the artist's intent to paint a picture that is prevalent today, that is encompassing the different values of how we see gun violence today. And I think that with the entirety of the picture to think about, that one can see that there is two different varying scenes, but are both very, very relevant today. And so I think that this picture is a good balance of rough general brushwork, but also with intricacies of small brushwork. As you can see at the hands and people's facial structures, such as the man in the blue here, you can very easily see his eyes and his chin and his lips and his jawline, which is very hard to show with oil painting with such rough brushwork. But you can also see smaller things that make the picture more beautiful, such as the helmet on the man on the far left with the gun, the ties, the people's hair, there's a handbag. But you can also just see the entire spaciousness of this picture. And so I think that there's a lot of symbolism here with the gun violence, as well as night and day and expectations of what people think. But overall, I think that this is a very controversial yet beautiful painting.